Alright, we are about to do this semester exam review. Don't pay attention to the date, the year on there. We're talking about 2017, 2018. Alright, so let's define some vocab here. So what is a chord? You gotta know these vocab words to match them. So if you remember from our last circles unit, okay, a chord is a segment whose endpoints are 2 points on a circle, right? Alright, and then a radius is a segment whose endpoints are the center of a circle and a point on the circle. A diameter is also a segment whose endpoints this time are well, we'll just call it a chord. A chord that passes through the center of a circle. A secant line. Alright, we got another difference between secant, tangent, chord, all that good stuff. So a secant line is a line, not a segment, that intersects a circle and 2 points. And let's spell intersects right. There we go. A tangent line is a line that intersects a circle in exactly 1 point. What's a central angle? A central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of a circle, basically from the middle. Hypotenuse, the longest side of a right triangle across from the right angle. Y'all remember that from triangles. Adjacent side, the side next to a given angle that is not the hypotenuse. The side across from a given angle. Scaling triangle. A triangle with 3 different side lengths. Isosceles triangle. A triangle with 2 congruent sides. A triangle with all congruent, but 3 congruent sides. Obtuse triangle. A triangle with 1 obtuse angle. Remember, you cannot have more than 1 obtuse angle or it will not be a triangle. A triangle with 3 acute angles. Oh yeah. let's start doing some math. We really got to remember how to do trigonometry. I know it's been a hot minute, but that's alright. So let's make sure we got our calculators ready to do some work. Up here, make sure it says degrees, DEG, it does, so we're good. And here we go. A ladder 17 feet from the base of a building reaches a window that is 45 feet high. What is the length of the ladder to the nearest foot? Okay. Now, how many pages are this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have 4 days this week. So we can do like 2 a day. Alright, so a ladder 17 feet from the base of a building reaches a window that is 45 feet high. Okay, so let's label what it tells us. Okay, and it tells us that the ladder is 17 feet from the base. So from here to here, 17. And this is 45 feet high. The window is 45 feet high. So we'll call this X over here. So we're going to have to use our favorite thing, Pythagorean Theorem. So, Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's going to be 17 squared plus 45 squared equals x squared. Now I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to add 17 squared plus 45 squared. I get 2314 equals x squared. And then my last step is to square root 48.1. And my units would be feet. Not squared. We're not talking about area. 17, a telephone pole is broken during a storm. Y'all remember this one when we took this test? It's 8 feet. 8 feet of the pole is left standing, okay, right here. The top of the pole touched the ground 12 feet from the base. Okay, now how tall was the pole? So I want you to know the pole is this 8 feet plus this missing x. So yes, we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem, but we have a last step where we need to add them together. So let's do this. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 8 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. I go to my calculator and I do 8 squared plus 12 squared. I get 208 equals x squared. Then I square root. .42 is x, and that's not the final answer. Okay, so the pole is going to be 8, that's standing up, plus 14.42, that's going to give me 22.42 feet. Okay. Gotta add that little part. 18, a landscaper wants to place a stone walkway from one corner of the rectangular lawn to the opposite corner. What will the length of the walkway? So again, we got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Pythagorean Theorem. 45 squared plus 90 squared equals x squared. I go to my calculator, 45 squared plus 90 squared is 10125, and I need to find the square root of both sides. Square root of 10125, and I get 100.62 feet is my final answer. Alright. So this says write the congruent statement that correctly indicates that the two given triangles are congruent. So when we do this, okay, we like to say triangle blah 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 is what? Congruent to triangle blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, I like to do 1 arc, 2 arc, 3 arc. So 1 arc is A, 2 arc is B, 3 arc is C. So triangle ABC is congruent, that's what this means, to triangle, and then 1 arc, 2 arc, 3 arc, FDE. Do you see how that's tricky? Because they didn't put it in alphabetical order. It's not always going to be in alphabetical order, okay? So, make sure you actually look at it. Triangle DEF is congruent to HJK, okay? So, drawing a picture is always nice. DEF. HJK. Okay, so D is 43.8. That means H is going to be the same thing. F is 17.3. So is K. We want to find angle J. Okay. So we know that D and F. Okay, so we got 43.8. We got 17.3. So I need to figure out E. If I can figure out E, I know J is the exact same thing. So let's take the two angles I know, D and F, and add them up. 43.8 plus 17.3. So 61.1. So if 61.1 is angle E, then that means the measure of angle J, which is congruent, is also going to be 61.1 degrees. Okay. 21. Given these are congruent, find each value. Alright, so you see how G is the middle letter right here. K is the middle letter right here. So this equal sign this. Alright, so I can set those equal. For x minus 20 equal sign 108. Let's solve this. Get rid of the loner. Plus 20. And then to get rid of the 4, we divide. X equals 32. Okay. And then for y, well, do you see how F, G are the first two letters? And J, K are the first two letters? That means this equals this. So 12 equal sign 3y minus 15. Get rid of the loner. And get rid of that 3 by dividing. Alright. Let's do another page. And that'll be it for this first video. Okay. A yield sign is an equilateral triangle with a side length of 26 inches all the way around. What is the height h of the sign? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay. So we want to be able to find the height of this thing. Alright, so we're going to have to use trigonometry. So at the very top, I want you to write something we have to remember. So, ka, toa. Remember the Dragon Ball Z reference? Okay, so we're thinking about half of this equilateral triangle. Okay. So my angle is 60. Alright. I'm looking for the height. We'll call it x right here. I know this length over here is half of 26, which is 13. Okay. So it's been a while, but you got to remember to label O, H, and A. So across from 60 is my O. across from 90 is my h, and then the leftover is a. Now looking at O, H, and A, which one am I not going to use? H. So I look at OA, and I'm reminded OA is TOA, T-O-A. So I'm going to write tan angle 60 equals O over A, x over 13. And then how do I get rid of that divided by 13? Times 13 times 13. So I need to do tan 60 times 13. Now you might remember this. I hit this trig button right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit the trig next to the number 7. Hit tan 60, end the parentheses, times 13. In one step, because I'm in degrees mode, I get 22.52. My missing length in inches right there. Okay, let's do it again. On number 23, where's my angle? And now I'm going to label O, H, and A. O, H, A. Which one am I not going to use? O, H, or A? O has a 7, H has a Y, A is nothing. Goodbye, A. So when I look at O and H has to be S for sine. Okay? We don't say sin, but whatever. So sine, S-I-N, angle, 45, equals O over H, 7 over Y. Now this is that weird situation. Remember, when the variable, when the letter y is on the bottom, our little mental trick, we're going to do 2 steps in one. We're going to take the left side and the bottom of that fraction and switcheroo. The y goes to the left, the 7 stays on top, but the sine 45 goes to the bottom. So I'm going to type 7 divided by sine 45. 7 divided by trig sine 45. 9.89, which is going to round up to 9.9. Very close to 10. And that's going to be in centimeters. Okay? So again, we're going to have to get reintroduced to this trigonometry stuff. Okay? So find the area and perimeter of the square in square centimeters. All right. We're going to omit this one, which means skip. Whatever. 25. Find the area and perimeter of the rectangle of the nearest length. So we're going to have to use trig again and then apply it with area and perimeter. So what's my angle? 60, right? Let's label O, H, and A. Now here's the deal. What am I missing? I'm actually, to find area and perimeter, I'm missing both the O and the A, okay? So I'm going to actually do 2 different trig problems here, okay? So I'm going to use OH to figure out this missing side length right here. So OH is sine. Sine 60 equals x over 17 times 17 times 17. Sine 60 times 17. And the parentheses, 14.72. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use AH this time, which is cosine. So cosine 60 equals A over H. We'll call this one Y. again, times 17 times 17. Cosine 60 times 17 is 8.5. So I get 8.5. So perimeter, I'm going to add up 8.5 plus 14.72 twice. And I get 46.44 inches. Right? And then my area equals length times width. So I'm going to do 8.5 times 14.72, 125.12. This time that's going to be in inches squared. It's area. So that was a lot of work, a little bit of space. You can do it though. Alright, polygons and quadrilaterals. So this next one, we're remembering our four-sided figures and the polygons. So, given that this is a parallelogram, so what do we know about this? So, let's start off with the z's, okay? So this z and this z, do you see how this one's acute and this one's obtuse? They are not across from each other, they are next to each other. They are not congruent, they are, the word, when they add up to 180, supplementary. So z minus 15, that angle, plus 2z, the other angle, equals 180, okay? A 1z plus a 2z is a 3z. Bring down minus 15, and that equals 180. Get rid of the loner. 3z equals 195. Divide by 3. Okay, what is 195 divided by 3? 65. Okay, now angle C is 2z. So the measure of angle C equals 2z, which is 2 times 65, which is 130 degrees. So this angle right here is 130. So guess what angle X is going to be over here if I know angle C? Well, X is also going to be 130 degrees. And then Y, again, X and Y are not the same, just like down here. Y is supplementary. Okay. So X plus Y equals 180. 130 plus Y equals 180. Minus 130 minus 130. Y equals 50. Alright. A couple more. Given that the shape is a right trapezoid, solve for X. Now we got to remember the rule for this, when we have this mid-segment from midpoint to midpoint, I know it's a midpoint because of that and because of that, right? That this mid-segment is the average of these two sides, okay? So the way we would set it up is the mid-segment, 20, equals 1/2, and then we would add up the outsides, 34 plus x, okay? So, to get rid of the half, I would do times 2, times 2, 40 equals 34 plus x. then I would subtract 34 from both sides, and I would get 40 minus 34 is 6. Okay? That's the hard way. The easier way is, what's the difference between 34 and 20? 14. So if you do that again, 20 minus 14, you should get 6. Okay? There's two ways to do it. Either way is right. Alright, kites are easy to confuse over here on number 28. Given that the shape is a kite, solve for W and Z. The only thing you know in a kite is that these side angles are congruent. So let's set those equal. Z plus 28 equals sine 140. Get rid of that loner. Okay, 112. Okay. So if I know Z is 112, what is this angle going to be right here? I need to plug it into Z minus 50. Z minus 50. Z is 112, so 112 minus 50 is going to give me 62 degrees. Okay. So for this angle right here, I know it's going to be 62. So I got 140 here, I got 140 here, and I got 62 right here. So if I know 3 of my angles, and I'm missing the 4th angle, remember, inside of a 4-sided figure, it adds up to 360, okay? So W plus 140 plus 140 plus 62. I'm adding up all 4 angles. One of them is missing, though, right? That's supposed to equal 360. So basically, we're going to add up all 3 of these numbers, 140 plus 140 plus 62, okay? 342. And we're going to take that away from 360. So minus 342. W is going to equal 18 degrees somehow. Alright? And that's a good stopping point for today. That's plenty. 28 minutes of notes, goodness gracious. Alright, so again, what did we do? We did the first page front and back, and then the front of the second page. There's still plenty to do. We're going to trek through it as the days go by in chunks. Alright.